For those who don't know what AOE is, I recommend you have a full understanding of what it is before watching this video. I'll link the Twitter thread that personally turned me into a hope chat in the description. So for a quick explanation on what the jacket theory is, red jacket is supposed to represent anime Eren, while black jacket with the hood is supposed to represent manga Eren. The reason this came into fruition is because in episode 87, in the flashback where Carla is getting eaten, you might notice something very strange. While Hannes is carrying Eren, for some reason he has the hooded black jacket on. But if we look back on episode 1, Eren has on the red jacket with no hoodie. Why would Eren have a memory of himself with a different jacket on? Unless, and not only that, if you take a look at the way Carla was eaten in episode 1, Dinah has her hands on Carla while she eats her. But if you take a look at the manga, you can clearly see she was thrown in the mouth. To add on to that, Mappa is obviously very strict on making memories accurate to the anime, hence the 1-to-1 adaptation in episode 79. Knowing that, why would the memory of Carla's death be so much more accurate to the manga rather than the anime? Why is she being thrown in rather than held like in the anime? I could only come up with two conclusions. Either Mappa is very inconsistent when it comes to jacket colors and past memories, or it's a direct reference to Black Jacket Eren and Red Jacket Eren being two different versions of Eren. And if Mappa was simply just this inconsistent, why wouldn't they fix the jacket color in the Blu-ray version to cause less confusion? Yet they refused to. Also in the new part 3 preview, it's shown that Mappa reanimated the scene in the first episode where Eren is crying by the tree. Note that he has on a red jacket, but literally seconds later, it shows the Freedom panel adapted and he has on the black jacket. I've heard people say the reason his jacket is black in the Freedom scene is because it's past adult Eren in a child form. But personally, I feel like that's somewhat of a cheap explanation because in the manga, Eren has always had the hooded black jacket. So it makes sense why in the manga, he would have a black jacket in the Freedom panel. But in the anime, unless somebody points out that his jacket is black, the watcher would have to assume that that's what happened. I'm still iffy on this one because I feel like it does make sense for Kid Eren to have the clothes of adult Eren while in past. But that still wouldn't explain why his jacket is black in the memory with Carla and Hannes, because remember, that is one of Eren's memories, not past Eren. And it also wouldn't explain why in Akuma no Ko, why Eren's jacket is red. If Kid past Eren is supposed to have on a black jacket, why does he have on a red jacket? And don't forget that this jacket theory is just a small branch of the tree that is AOE. So there would also be a lot of other pieces of hopium that would need to be disproved as hints, like the Berserktine being anime original, and Falco's anime original memories of flying around with swords, and Akuma no Ko, and the school cast, and all of the music parallels, and Isayama openly saying Muv Love is what got him to write Attack on Titan, and of course the nail in the coffin, the sound director bringing up an anime original ending with the voice actors' reactions. But I also like to point out some fallacies in my argument as well. First, I'll point out the hands of Dinah. In total, there are 4 different adaptations of Carla's death. First, you have in chapter 2 of the manga, second in episode 1, third in chapter 130, and fourth in episode 87. In chapter 2, it seems the most similar to episode 1, both being the right hand, although I would like to point out some very minor differences. It most likely means nothing, but in the anime, Dinah snaps Dinah snaps Carla's back using 2 hands, while in the manga she uses 1 hand. And in the manga it's not explicitly shown whether or not she was being held while being ate or thrown in, but Wit Studio simply could have just not known at the time. In chapter 130 it's also shown that Dinah used her right hand, but the only adaptation where she uses her left hand is episode 87. A very weird inconsistency, but maybe I'm just looking too deep into it. Secondly, Mappa reanimating the Eren dream in the first episode could very easily mean that they will retcon the first episode and add the see you later scene. I'll point out that in the manga, Mikasa wakes up Eren while he's sitting, and Eren cries after he stands up. Eren is also calm, while in the anime he wakes up frantically on his back from a nightmare. So if Mappa were to retcon the anime, why would Eren wake up on his back? Personally, I'm not too sure how important the placement and positioning is, so I'm still iffy on whether or not this is a see you later scene. Thirdly, Mappa isn't the most consistent when it comes to animation. Thank you for watching, and let me know if you feel like I missed out on any important information or if you just want to add on to the theory. Trust the author. Just trust Isayama, bro. He is cooking. Never forget, a man's cope never ends.